Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Saturday evening of BG Bios. I am ever so glad that you've decided to spend the evening with us. I'm Caleb, or Duban, as I'm known in the Discord server, and I'll be your host this evening. Tonight, we're continuing our mid-boss mayhem series, where we talk with a mid-boss who's joined Boston Gaymers leadership relatively recently. I say relatively because it's going to take me some time to get through all the new mid-bosses. It'll be like a year since the last one has joined leadership by the time I get to them. So, everything is relative. If you would like to add questions to the interview at any point, please send them in the chat. I'll add them where I can. I have not actually read any of the chat yet, so I hope you haven't added questions because we were having a rooting conversation prior to going live. So, without any further pretense, ado, or nonsense, let's get started. So, starting off with the easy stuff, what is your name and what are your pronouns?
Everyone, my name is Kyle, Synergistic in the server, and my pronouns are he, him.
Perfect. And what are you going to be playing on stream this evening?
I will be playing some teamfight tactics.
Perfect. All right. So, as usual, I'll be breaking the ice with some rapid fire questions. Answer these as quickly as you can. Bonus points if you get chat to flame you. We have a few sets, so
All for the controversial stuff, right?
Yeah, indeed. So I'll give you a couple breaks to take breath. Are you ready?
I think so. Let's go for it.
I'll take that as a yes. What's your favorite video game genre?
Probably MOBAs. Yeah, let's go MOBAs.
Do you play support, tank, or DPS?
Oh, support all the way, all day.
What's the most broken thing in League right now?
Okay, so I don't actually play League all too much right now, but that is freaking hard. Probably, I heard Rel is really good. She's a new support character, and I have not played her very much, but I hear she's pretty spicy.
Sounds good. Who's your least favorite League champion?
Is it Yasuo? It's probably Yasuo, and that's like the standard. Like everybody hates Yasuo.
Perfect.
Teemo's another one everybody hates. Yeah, let's go with Yasuo.
What's your favorite board game?
So my favorite board game is Sidereal Confluence. I could talk for days about it, but nobody's ever heard of it. It's like a really big space trading game, and I'll leave it at that because it's rapid fire.
What's a board game you can never win at?
Zool. Okay. Cannot win a Zool.
I'm going to take note of that. All right, that's the end of our first sets. I don't have a use for that later. I've just written it down. Don't worry about it. Take a deep breath, and we'll launch into our second set here. Yeah. What's the best way to travel?
To travel? I like car rides. Car rides can be fun.
It's good. Barring COVID, if you could go anywhere in the world tomorrow, where would you go?
Ooh. I really just want to go back into the city some more. Really traveling would be super fun. Like if I could go to like dream destination, it'd be like, I don't know, Paris or something. But like that's not happening tomorrow. I want to go back into the city and walk around in shops and eat and all that jazz.
You can go to Paris tomorrow. Tickets are cheap. Which is better, an umbrella or a raincoat?
No, umbrella. Umbrella's practical. And
wrong choice,
not
but
hideous.
We'll let it slide. Hideous, excuse you. What's your favorite season?
I like the colder months for sure.
Okay. What's the best color for a car?
Whatever color you like. Gray? I don't know. My car's gray. That's kind of
gray. Hot takes tonight. What's the best piece of flatware?
Flatware?
Silverware.
Silverware? Okay. I think, I don't know, the fork gets the most use. However, I love a good spoon.
Okay. That's good. All right, we're to another break. I clearly need to change the word from flatware to silverware in this question because I think every time I've asked it, people have asked me what flatware is. So maybe it's time to stop being
I know what
archaic.
you're asking about, but let's throw a out there to see if I can get any clarification.
Fair enough. All right. Take a deep breath and we will launch into our last set here. What's the ultimate dinner side dish?
Dinner side dish. Mashed potatoes.
Good choice. What's your favorite kind of pizza topping?
I think I'm a classic pepperoni person. That's probably my favorite. But I do like olive. Is that controversial? Do I get points for that?
I kind of doubt it, but we'll see. What's your drink of choice?
So if we're talking non-alcoholic, it's coffee, cold brew from Starbucks most of the time. Alcoholic, I love margaritas.
Good choice. What's the right way to eat an Oreo?
Return it and get some Chips Ahoy.
Ooh, I was about to say the only wrong answer to this question is don't, and you answered it. Bad choice. What's the best breakfast food?
I love eggs, egg sandwiches. I don't know, eggs and anything. I like eggs with ketchup. So sorry, Dana.
You'll get some flame for that one at least, maybe, if Dana is present with us. All right, perfect. There ends our rapid fire questions. So we do have a very important question popping up in chat, which is Chris asks, "Why do you hate Oreos? Who hurt you?" And I would just like to echo that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I hate Oreos, but like I'd so much rather have a chewy Chips Ahoy and milk. I don't know. Oreos, so I'm not a sweet person at all. So that's probably why this is so controversial. But I mean Chips Ahoys are still like super sweet too. But like an Oreo, I just get like the taste of sugar and it doesn't jive with me. That's not happening.
Fair enough. Dana also says that you're entitled to your wrong opinions.
I certainly am.
All right. So coming down from that, let's talk about you and a bit about where you came from. So tell me, where were you born? Where'd you grow up?
So I was born in Milford, Connecticut, and raised in Stratford, Connecticut. I moved around Wallingford, but Connecticut, South, Western. Yeah, I got to do the never eat soggy waffles. Parts of Connecticut. So yeah, I grew up in Stratford, did elementary school there, started middle school there, I think. Yeah. And then in middle school, I moved to Wallingford, Connecticut. Small. It's someone described it once as like halfway between like a town and a city, and I think that's a pretty good explanation for it. I think that was actually my English teacher, so it makes sense that it comes from there. But yeah, small town. Half of it is farm. When you go in, a little bit city, but nothing to be, um, nothing astounding. And growing up as a kid, I was like always like goody two shoes, always reading books. It was never like a problem for my mom or anything like that. I have a younger brother. He's 2 years younger than me, and he was more so like the problem child, always like, sticking his nose where it doesn't belong and things like that. But I was mostly left to my own devices.
Fair enough. So you've mentioned some. I think you've actually fielded most of this, but just to clarify, who all was in your household growing up? So you
Yeah.
mentioned a brother.
Yeah. So my younger brother, Will, my mom, my dad was part of the picture for a while until about middle school until we moved, but he's no longer in the picture. But yeah, so after we moved, it was just the three of us in a small little apartment in Wallingford. Yeah.
Fair enough. So you said a little bit about your little brother, that he's a bit of a troublemaker. What's your mom like?
My mom definitely echoes me. Um, I would say she's definitely on the quieter side, more composed. Um, she and I are very alike, Although I don't know, maybe I'd like. Pretty good. I was about to say she's a little more judgmental than me, but you know. But yeah.
Fair enough. So what sort of things did you do in school? Did you do extracurriculars while you were in middle and high school, or what did you get into?
Yeah, what did I do? So I was in the French club in high school. I don't remember much. So if you try and pull something on me right now, I don't know how well it'll go. What else was I in? I did DECA, which is sort of like a marketing or business club. And that was really cool. It allowed me to do some traveling. I traveled for some competitions. And yeah, it was actually the first way that I traveled by plane. It was like my sophomore year of high school, and we went to blinking Salt Lake City for the regionals. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. That's a pretty big trip from Connecticut.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially your first trip.
Yeah. Was that the farthest you'd ever been?
It is, and to this day, I don't know, Salt Lake City further than where I went in Canada. It might be. I'll get back to you on that. I studied abroad in Canada. Studied abroad.
Where did you go?
So I went to. You kind of just forget everything when you're on stream, huh? It's like I could tell you this off stream, but like, I went to Montreal and Toronto. So it was like a spring break, and we did like 4 days Montreal, 4 days Toronto.
Those are both definitely closer than Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I was trying to like map it out in my head.
Yeah, it's different because it's different directions: north, northwest, west. Fair
Never
enough.
eat soggy waffles.
So what did you do following high school? What happened next?
So after high school, I was invited to a 3+1 business program at Quinnipiac University, which is 10 minutes from my hometown. And I ended up going there for college, and I studied marketing with a minor in management. And I really loved college. I was there for so the 3+1 thing. I did my bachelor's in 3 years, and I got my MBA the following year. And yeah, I have a lot of good memories from college.
Gotcha. So if it was about 10 minutes from your hometown, did you continue living with your mom, or did you live on campus?
So I actually lived on campus because housing was included in the 3+1 deal. It was free for me to do, and I took advantage of that. It was really exciting because I wanted to get away from home as much as 10 minutes away is. But when you're with your family your whole life and you're in a small apartment, you kind of like want to get away a little bit.
Sure. We do love a bundle, so if housing came as part of the deal.
Happy shopper.
So what was college like for you? Was it as refreshing to get to be out on your own as you thought it would be, or was it difficult?
Yeah, for sure. So when I first went to college, I thought it would be this like totally eye-opening experience, and it is. I did a lot of things that I don't think I would have done if I didn't go to college, and I had a lot of fun with it. When I first, one of the main reasons I wanted to live on campus was because I didn't want to be under anybody's influence anymore. I wanted to be my own person. And so I was very overweight for basically all of my childhood life. And when I went to college, I was like, I have access to a gym. I have access to, good food, and people can make it for me, so I don't have to spend the time doing that. I should like get in shape. And so that's what I did. My freshman year of college, I ended up, going to the gym, eating healthier, and I lost 100 pounds, which is something, that I'm very proud of myself to this day for doing. I've since, regained some of that weight, but college was definitely I needed that in order to, break away and, change some things up for me.
Gotcha. Sure, that makes good sense. What made you choose the program that you did? You said you did marketing. Is that right?
Yeah, so I did marketing. Actually, there's a little bit of a story behind that. So originally it was economics. I wanted to do economics. And I signed up for economics and I was admitted to the economics program with the 3+1 and everything. And then, one day I get a letter in the mail. I think it was the day of like my senior picnic of high school. I remember it. And it said, hey, we are transitioning our economics program out of the School of Business, and we're moving it into the communications program. So you have some options. You can stay economics, but we're going to move you to the communication school, and you're no longer going to get like 3+1 benefits. So I wouldn't get the reduced tuition. I wouldn't get the to live on campus for free, and I was like, I don't think I can do that. So the other option was like, all right, well, you can stay in the 3+1 program, but you got to switch to something else. I was like, okay, so what are my options? So I started looking around. There was like accounting, finance. I was like, not what I'm trying to do. And I saw marketing, and I was always fascinated by marketing because it's sort of like trying to understand, at its core, how do people make the decisions they make with respect to, their buying habits and things like that, which I thought was cool. So like, all right, let's switch over and do marketing. Yeah, that's where I ended up.
Sure. What sorts of things did you do in college? Did you participate in any clubs or anything like that?
Yeah, so I was probably two main things that I remember that I participated in were so I was an orientation leader for the university. I did that for 2 years, and I went on to be an orientation intern. And that was really cool. I enjoyed doing that just because you made so many connections and you sort of ushered in a new wave of students to the school. So sort of like, the whole school ambassador thing, and making connections and meeting new people, which I really liked. And then also the League of Legends Club at my school had started my sophomore year, I want to say. Yeah, let's go with sophomore year. And I went there and I met a lot of cool people. I ended up showing up one day and, I stuck with it. And eventually I became the president of the league club. I guess it was my graduating year. And because it was 3 years, my senior year, my junior year, whatever you want to call it. But I was president and I got to enact a lot of super cool changes, oversee the club, get to see how it worked. And, it was League of Legends Club, but half the time, we were playing, we'd play like a game or two of League and then we'd go and switch over to like board games at the end. So it was just like, it was like a glorified game club. There was already a game club on campus. I didn't play League, but we were League Club with board games. Be there, be square.
Fair enough. Pretty cool. Sorry, apparently I'm having a voice attack. So Boston is not quite Quinnipiac. So what happened in between then and now? What brought you here?
Yeah. So I've been dating my boyfriend Noah for almost 7 years now. And we met in it was like the very tail end of my high school experiences when we met. And we were long distance for at that point 4 years when I was graduating. And Noah was up in Boston. He went to Wheelock College for teaching. He's a fourth grade school teacher. And after Quinnipiac, I was always like, yeah, am I going to go to Boston? I wasn't sure I was going to fit into a city, and decided that I was going to go to Boston. I was going to do it just because I think it was a new experience for me, and it was something I wanted to try out. And I knew I wanted to be with Noah, and if Noah's in Boston, I figured let's give it a shot. So after my MBA, I went up to Boston. I feel like, I don't know, within the time span of like a week and a half of like graduating, I found a job, moved up, and like I made so many life changes. And it was a whirlwind.
How did that go? Did it settle out, and was it good? Did it take time to settle in?
It's fine. There was definitely when I first moved in with Noah, like first apartment and everything, there was definitely like how do I say? I had to learn how to adult because I was so overwhelmed with like the lack of time that I had, and figuring out how to get everything done. That I was floundering a little bit, but it worked out. I'm still here.
Fair enough. So what do you do career and school wise now?
Yeah, so I am a program manager for Northeastern University, one of their engineering departments, and I work on basically academic and data related tasks for the department. I'd say it's like a 50-50 split. I'm sort of like, if anybody needs like help on like a spreadsheet or like finding data or like storing data, that's what they'll come to me for. And if there's a bunch of academic tasks that need to be done throughout the year, like tenure and promotion, um, making the course schedule for our students and other things like that. So that's what I do for my job. And then I'm also a student in the Master's in Data Science program. I decided to go back to school just because it sounds strange, but like I went back to school because I was like, wow, I have this free time. What am I doing with it? Why am I not just getting free tuition at the place I work? And yeah, here I am getting another master's, and it's a doozy.
So, in case you said, and I'm sorry if I missed it, what's the new master's program?
Master's in data science.
Gotcha. So what's next for you? So you're getting a master's in data science. You're gonna finish that up at some point. What do you want to do next?
So after this, I would ideally find a data scientist or upper level data analyst position. Once I finish my degree, it's in flux of when that'll actually finish based on the classes I'm taking. But yeah, I think a short while after I finish my degree, I'd like to be in a new position, sort of applying what I've learned and, growing from my position. Because like my position, I like it. It's a good position. It's a good, entry level position, but I think I am sort of beyond that now.
Gotcha. Fair enough. So I do want to make a transition here, but I have kind of a hanging question that I don't know where to fit. So but I want to ask it because chat asked it. So I'm going to throw it in as a cheeky transition question. Let's see. Now I have to scroll back up to it because I'm not going to remember what it is. This is something I don't know whether it's I don't know whether the question is a troll question or a genuine question because I don't understand it. But is your favorite TFT champ Cat or Samira?
Probably Samira. Yeah, probably Samira. I'd also say anybody that's following along and like watching this game, this is terrible. I cannot play this and be interviewed at the same time. Ugh. Like, am I bored?
I feel like it is
Not
the BG
it.
Bio's rite of passage to find out that you can't play a game and talk. I think every interviewee has experienced that. But no, by the way, that question came from Aiden, I should say. So anyway, go ahead and transition forward. I do occasionally get the distinct pleasure of getting to ask a question that I don't understand and just have faith that the person who asked it asked a reasonable question. All right. So let's chat just a little bit about identity. What are some of the elements of your identity that are most important to you, or how might you sum yourself up in a few words?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that like I don't have many identifiers when it comes to identity. I think the main two ones being that we're in Boston Gamers are both Boston, or not Boston, uh, gay and gamer. I've thought about, what does it mean to be a Bostonian recently? And I think I would say I don't know if I totally know what that means yet. I think I need to get back out there. This gets back to what I was saying earlier with like, wanting to just walk around Boston and just do more stuff in the city. I kind of forget what it's like to just go down and walk around and visit the shops, and I kind of miss it. And I just want to get back there as soon as COVID's over. But oh wow, I'm out already. But I would say, you know, I would identify as gay. I identify as a gamer. I've been playing games my whole life, and it's something that I can use to escape or immerse myself, or just take it easy and relax.
That's fair. I now have a new question to ask myself in the midst of my existential dread. I can just add in, am I a Bostonian? I don't know. No, that's perfect. So you have mentioned being gay. So for you, was there a formal coming out? What did that look like?
Yes. So when did I come out? Junior year. I came out to my mom and my brother at the same time in our tiny apartment. My junior year of high school, because I wanted to talk to a boy, or I wanted a boy to I wanted to go out on a date, and I was like, I had no way to sneak around and you know um, sort of orchestrate a plan to get around that. So I was like, all right, I'm going to come out. I'm going to tell my mom. Everything's great. And I'd say for the most part, it was fine. I was essentially sat up on my bed, and me and my brother shared a room. So we were both in there. And my mom walked in, and I knew that she had to leave for work soon. So I was like, I think I read online there was some great tip on Myth Mojo's top 5 ways to come out to your mom. And it was tip number 1, when your mom's going to work, tell her so that way she has to leave and you don't have to talk about it with her right then and there. And so I did that. And so I told her, and she kind of just started I wouldn't say breaking down. She was teary eyed. It was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Is there any way, how can I make you feel better, or blah blah blah? And I was like, I don't know, I just kind of really wanted to get that off my chest. And she was like, all right, well, I really have to go to work. She talked to my brother Will. He's like, Will, do you still love your brother? And he was like, yes. And I was like, okay, cool. And he was like, yeah, I don't know how to help. I really got to go to work. Can I order you some pizza? And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. And then she ordered me pizza, and then she went to work, and that was that's coming out story.
That's fun. You're gay, you get pizza. I just would that the whole world were that way. We should all just get pizza, honestly.
Right?
What were the longer term impacts of that? Was that it, or was there more serious conversation later? It sounds like she took it pretty well.
Yeah, I think overall she took it pretty well. My brother, ever since that day, we kind of just grew distant. And I mean, there's not a whole ton to talk about there. I mean, we kind of just see each other at holiday gatherings and family functions, the few that there are, and we say hi. That's not really something we talk about, or we just kind of went our own ways from there. Which was kind of sad. I was close to my brother growing up, but that definitely widened it. My mom, she sort of did the thing where it was she would refer to Noah when I had Noah as a boyfriend, as a friend, that sort of thing, where it was I'm not going to fully acknowledge this is happening right now, but she knew it was sitting there the whole time, and she was going to have to eventually deal with it. But I think she's fine with it today. It's been 7 years that I've been dating Noah for now, and he's come around to it. So I think overall, it's a really positive coming out story and experience for me. Compared to what you hear of others, on the internet and other friends you might know. So
Sure. So I had a follow-up question and it escaped me somehow. This very rarely happens. Oh. Did you did you have a formal coming out with your friends as well? Did they always just sort of know, or is it just like case by case? You told some people at different times. How did that work?
yeah. So at the time in high school, I had like two really close friends. I wouldn't say really close, sorry. They were more so like we were sort of like the rejects from high school, and people just sort of clumped us together and we just sort of hung out together. At school, it was never like one of those friendships that you have like outside of school. It was more so like, yeah, we'll have lunch with each other, we'll sit with each other. Um, but it wasn't really like a strong friendship and hang out after school and things like that. But regardless of that, we were close in the manner that I think we were all queer to some degree. At least one of them was. I'm pretty sure the other is. I don't remember off the top of my head because we don't keep in contact anymore. But we all just sort of, came out to each other first. And then I think one day I just decided that, I'm going to do this. I don't think I really involved them in the decision. I knew I had their support at school. But yeah, so.
Gotcha. Fair enough for my fans. Um, but perfect. So pivoting a little bit, what has your experience with community been like? So you've talked actually about a couple different places that you've been in community. You've talked about extracurriculars and the league club in college. Have you found it generally easy to fit into community, or have you found that to be a challenge?
Um, I'd say ever since college, I found it easier to, approach a community, get involved with the community, just because I think I gained so much confidence in college. But that was certainly not the case in high school. For the majority of high school, it was like me, myself, and my homework. Um, and I'd say that community is really important to me. I think for the longest time, I thought of myself as an introvert, and now I kind of feel like, okay, I'm like, so I have no energy when I'm not around people. I like feeding off of people, um, and that sort of thing, which is why I like being in so many different types of communities. Because I feed off of people and their energy, and it's just a good time with people, in my opinion.
Gotcha. Fair enough. So pivoting that sort of into the next category, I like to talk with people on this show a little bit about Boston Gamers specifically. So starting at the beginning, do you know about how long you've been in Boston Gamers?
That's a good question. When did I join? Mm, I just gotta check my intro. Um, what
I mean,
what was
I
what year
know,
was your
but it's
pool
more fun
party?
if I pretend not to.
Okay, we'll do this.
2019.
Yeah, so must have been a little. Oh no, so I'd been in the server 1 year before I went to my first event. So I don't know, springtime 2018. Let's say PAX 2018 is when I joined and found, but I can't totally remember.
Reasonable. I
Someone check
feel like
the intro.
the central conceit to this question is that I always know when everyone joined, but I ask anyway because that's the nature of me. Um, so perfect. Do you think BG has changed in the time you've been part of it? If so, what have you seen change?
Yeah, for sure. Um, I think, for one thing, the leadership style has changed. And I think the amount of people that actively, contribute to chats or events has certainly changed. Um, in some ways due to COVID, in other ways um, due to, I think, a stronger and larger community growing. And it's been really nice to see people come in and find their, sort of, second home, or, people that they can call like really good friends here. Um, it's it's touching to see, for sure.
Sure. Do you have any favorite BG memories or stories that you'd like to share?
Hmm. trying to think of some like wacky story I have. My mind is just defaulting to your pool party now because that was the first event. And I'm pretty sure. What was his name? I think his name is Mark. He was like involved with like the tea and like I can't remember exactly what it was. His name was Mark. He had an iPhone and he was like really keen on like throwing it into the water and showing to everybody that his iPhone was waterproof. And I'm pretty sure Noah can remember this and back me up on this. But he probably threw his phone in the water about like 5 or 6 different times, showing it off to us. And I was like, "Wow, that's really cool." And he was like, "Yeah, you want to see it again?" And proceeded to do it again. And that's a funny story from my first BG event. So thank you, Mark.
we do appreciate that. Is very amusing to me, and I'll spill my I'll spill my own tea. Clearly, I was intoxicated because I have no recollection of throwing anyone throwing a phone in my pool. You'd think I'd noticed that. Not my pool, to be clear. The pool that happens to be behind my apartment. Anyway, that's I'll take that. Lots of pool party shenaniganry.
Yes.
What is it, would you say, that makes BG a home for you?
I would definitely say the friendships that I've made here. Just so many people across, so many different groups and different games, and we all are sort of bonded by similar experiences. Whether that would be local, whether that be our queerness, I think being a part of this community means a lot to me, especially because I was coming to Boston and didn't really know anybody and just decided to take a leap of faith. And here y'all were ready to, welcome people in with open arms.
Gotcha. That's awesome. So you are relatively recently one of our events mid-bosses, and you notably run the League of Legends events. Can you tell me a little bit about those? Somehow I suspect some of our audience may be from the League of Legends events.
Yeah. So I think one day I had the realization that, we're Boston Gamers, but I rarely see anybody like going to the gaming channels and actually, firing up a game and, getting together. And I was like, I want to do that with League. Why don't we just start doing it? And instead of just forming like pickup games here and there, why don't we just make it into like a weekly thing? So I decided to do that one day, and now we meet every Sunday at 8 p.m. for regularly scheduled shenanigans, and it's a lot of fun. Definitely met a lot of cool people from that group, and the group's been growing. I think it started at just like a couple people, and now we regularly get up to 10, 11, 12 plus people each week coming out to play some games. So it's been a really fun time.
Yeah, that's awesome. I every week I tell myself I'm gonna like try League again and come, and then I don't. But one of these days it'll happen. So what do you want to see for BG going forward? What are your goals for its growth as a member of the leadership team now?
Yeah, so one of my goals coming in, the fiddlestick thing just threw the shit out of me. Was to make our events more inclusive and welcoming, diverse attitudes and thoughts. And I think that I'm dead. COVID really put a damper onto the special feelings that you get when you're in person with each other, and you're having a drink at the alley, or you're at the PAX booth table learning more about the server. But we want to try to sort of expand the offerings that we have, and we also want to expand our current offerings to have more diversity within them. Whether that's partnering with the engagement team and sort of figuring out how can we get people of different walks of life into the server and into our events, or just trying to expand how we currently do things is something that I'm particularly interested in.
Gotcha. Cool. Perfect. So I will make another segue here, but I conveniently have another random hanging question that I can segue with. So
Cool.
Kara asks what your favorite color is.
My favorite color, as controversial as it may be, it's blue.
I feel like blue is the least controversial favorite
Right.
color.
Right. If I had to pick, a certain shade of blue, I really like blues and greens mixed together, like a nice teal. So if you're looking for specifics there.
Gotcha. And Jim and Narcy asks, can we see Bubba though? Which
Bubba.
is going to, I imagine, be a logistical difficulty.
He's over on the bed. Not trying to show off messy bedroom. But if I can get a picture into chat, I will certainly do that.
Okay. So that we let everyone in. Can you tell us who Bubba is?
Bubba is our cat. He is, I think, 12 years old. Yeah, so he's a old boy, and he is a black cat.
Gotcha. Perfect. So we'll at least get Bubba pictures later.
Yes.
I suppose if Bubba's feeling like a movie star, maybe he'll come join you. But
yeah, he's sleeping right now.
Fair enough. We can let the kitty sleep, I think. So before we wrap up here, let's talk a little bit about how you spend your free time. So I don't think this is too much of a secret, and if it is, and people heard the rapid fire questions, it's not anymore. But I happen to know that you're a big board gamer. Have you had much of an opportunity to keep that up in the past year, or has the pandemic really shut down the possibility of board gaming for you?
Yeah, I mean, not really, certainly not as much as I would like to, and I'd say for two reasons. COVID makes it hard to meet up with people, but also I realize I don't have the mental stability that I used to in college. So we would stay up till like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 a.m. like every when it be Sunday nights. Like every Sunday night, it was like mentally taxing board game after the other one, like that Lady Gaga meme. Another board game, another board game, another one, and I cannot do that anymore. Like I can maybe do like one strategic board game, and then I gotta go to bed. My head hurts. I need some Advil. So yeah, I mean, I still have like my big collection, and now I kind of just like look at it, and I'm like, I used to use you so much more. But there's also Tabletop Simulator. Every once in a while, get together for some games on there. But it's nothing like the actual thing. And anyone that uses Tabletop Simulator and has like in-person events can speak to it's a great substitute when you have to use it. But the real deal is the real deal for a reason.
Yeah, that is pretty accurate, I think. So can you tell me a little bit about some of your favorite board games? I'll give you a non-rapid fire forum to discuss Sidereal for a couple minutes if you'd like, and then any other game you want to talk about as well.
Yeah, so Sidereal Confluence, as I mentioned, it is a space trading and negotiation game for anywhere between 4 and 9 players, which is like a really wacky player count. One of the reasons I like it is because it can scale up so high to include so many people. So like it is like a serious and like competitive game, but it also has this like funny nature where like you're always like it's like a shouting match where you're trying to sort of talk to other people and make deals with them. And so essentially you have these resources that you start off with, and you want to get more and more resources. And you have these cards in front of you that convert certain resources into more of those other resources. But in order to get those other resources, you have to talk to other players and get get the resources from them because they're holding all the resources. It's a closed economy, and you have to make the best deals in order to win. And so why I like that is because it's a social game, and I enjoy interacting and talking with people. Compared to some games where it's like you're playing a 4-player game, but it's like you're playing the game solo by yourself, and you're just trying to like beat each other out in points. Where this one is like you have to actively engage with other people and try out different deal making tactics in order to sweeten the deal for yourself. And I had a point and I was going somewhere with it. Oh, right. And so the last thing about it is that it's a space game and you're all a unique alien species. And the reason that's really cool is because the rules for each species fundamentally changes how you play the game. And so it really like ticks all of my boxes. It's asymmetrical, it's social, it's competitive and strategic, and it's got a space theme. For some reason, I don't know why. I've never been like, crazed about space. I always thought it was interesting and cool, but space board games just do something for me. And yeah, that's all about my favorite game, Sidereal Confluence. Find it in your local board game store today.
And don't convince me to play it, whatever you do. No, I'm kidding. At this point, I think I would enjoy a game of Sidereal just to have a game in person. So a couple people in chat asked if it was just diplomacy. So I imagine you know what diplomacy is, so you can probably compare them and tell them what is alike or different.
Yeah, so I've heard of diplomacy. I've never played it. I think I've looked into it. I've heard that diplomacy, it's an older game and people used to play it like by like mail or something like that. But that was like, a special case or whatever. I know it's like an actual board game. I don't have extensive knowledge about diplomacy. What I know is that you're all, or maybe I don't even know much about it. You're just like countries trying to take over the world. I honestly don't know that much about it. Sorry.
It's totally.
I wish I knew more about it to compare.
Well, fair enough. No, that's.
Or I know there's
totally
alliances
reasonable.
and like you can like stab people in the back. So that's cool. I love that.
I do like stabbing people in the back, which is
right.
No secret to anyone who has ever played any board game with me.
Like number 2 on my favorite pastime, stabbing people in the back.
Same though. All right, so that's board games. When the pandemic's over, feel free to call Kyle up for a game of Sidereal Confluence. He's always looking to fill the table. Sometimes a friend will reluctantly agree. I have to tease him. My apologies. But what have you been watching on TV recently?
What have I not been watching on TV? I used to watch things with Noah like every once in a while. Like we'd have like a recurring TV show. But the only thing that's coming to my mind right now is Drag Race. So we've been watching Drag Race UK and the Drag Race US season. What are they on? 12. Every Thursday and Friday, and that's really fun. They did comedy specials recently. The UK one was absolutely hilarious. Bimini Bomb Boulash is that girl. And what else have I been watching? Is that, Big Brother Canada just started, and I was thinking about starting that. I might do it. Big Brother Canada, I always hear is far superior to Big Brother US, just because they cast better people and they have better competitions. But I kind of like those like trashy reality TV shows. And every once in a while, Noah and I will find like something on Netflix to watch. But nothing queued up at the moment.
Fair enough. Totally reasonable. So this is kind of a unique question. Once the planet gets mostly clear, releasing us from the pandemic, what is one live event, musical or otherwise, that you would immediately race to go take part in?
That is a good question. Taylor Swift has now gone 3 albums without a tour or like presenting herself in front of a stage, and I think that would be pretty cool to go to. Just any sort of like local drag event would be fun to go to, but also just like someone that I listen to like a live show would be fun to go to. Taylor Swift, Ariana, Dua Lipa, if any of those came to Boston, I'd definitely be interested in looking at their tickets.
Sure. Cool. So also before I go, I naturally can't leave without chatting a little bit about video games. We are a video game based server after all. So what have you been playing recently?
Yeah. So I played a lot of TFT. That's probably like my main game at the moment. I play League every Sunday. I love that I get to showcase 2 losses for all you viewers. It's really my shining moment.
This is recorded forever. We put it on YouTube, so
right.
you can refer
Besides that, I play World of Warcraft. I got into that again recently. And that's been fun. I played World of Warcraft a lot, like a lot, in middle school and high school, and I was like a raid leader and all that jazz. And getting back into it, first of all, the time commitment to WoW is like, it's so hard to like try and like be an active raider and like have all these other like adult responsibilities. But somehow, getting it done, killing bosses. What else have I been playing recently? I want to like open up my Steam and just like go through it. Oh, GTFO was like a new game that like we discovered recently and playing with a few people from BG, and that's sort of like a horror co-op shooter. Sorry, I just realized that the thing is not showcasing the game. There we go. But yeah, I'm sort of in that stage where it's like I could like, Valorant, like I pick that up every couple of days. Just like Riot shooter. Yeah, what I've been playing recently. I'm kind of in the mood to like try something different. So chat, if you have any recommendations, let me know.
Something different like Star Wars Squadrons or, whatever.
Right.
Do you have any all-time favorite video games? What elements go into the design of games that you enjoy?
Yeah, so League for sure. I mean, what it boils down to is I like a big challenge, whether that comes from hard bosses or competitive rivalries or whatever. Like I liked League because I knew it was something that I could play more and get better at and strive to be better. And that sort of hit a wall when I reached Diamond, and I was like, there's no way I'll ever be like master or challenger or anything like that. With TFT, you don't need all the like micro mechanical skills of like moving your mouse around and things like that. It's more of like, it's all like thought power and how you like make decisions on the fly. So I've been climbing in TFT a lot, and I like that competitiveness. So a game needs to be competitive for me. There needs to be like a goal in the game. Sometimes like when I play like open world games or games where I don't have a clear objective, I definitely get like lost, and sometimes I can get like detracted or bored, and I want to feel like I'm always actively doing something, because I'm always like getting back to like the sort of TV question is like the reason I don't watch a lot of like TV or movies is because like my mind just wanders and I'm like, I'm not focused. So like I want to do something that's engaging and competitive. And if a game can do that and also have like an interesting, oh, Bubba just woke up. I was going to see if I can pick him up, but I've closed the door on him. You can't get out.
No escape.
But yeah, I would say just competitiveness and having clear defined goals is like a good structure of game. And if you can put on a good theme to it, I might buy it or check it out.
Fair enough. Okay, so I have a couple hanging questions, and then I'm going to wrap. One, there was a follow-up question about events. Just City Junk asks, since you're on the events committee, what live event would you like to host for BG when we can do those again?
Ooh, that's That is a great question. I really want to. So I think I was just mustering up the courage to go to one of the live drag race events once, COVID hit. And, the parties at the alley are always fun, but we never, went out to drag race. Me and Noah, I'm saying, never went out there. So I think those would be really fun, and just exploring like our venue space, because we were just starting to get those like really good parties at the alley and making connections, and there's so much opportunity that we could have out there that we're going to have to go out and re-explore and see what makes sense for our group now that we have so much more people joining since COVID. We're going to have to assess how we can make things work at the alley. And I'm also looking forward to have people, come over for board games. I used to do that before COVID, and that was always a fun time, or just go to other people's places and get together, like those sort of small gatherings that we would have. That's where I feel like, most at home, because like you have like a small group of people where you can be yourself and make connections, and you're not like, you don't feel the pressure of like everybody around you. At least, sometimes I feel that pressure.
Sure. I think that's a pretty common feeling. The other question I had is, Chris asked what you were drinking.
Drinking? Oh, water. It's a rare occasion for me, actually. So good on me. But also, I had my coffee. I didn't want to get too hyper. So I decided not to drink all of that. This is a honey almond milk cold brew, and quite good. Thank you, Starbucks.
Coffee at 10 p.m. You heard it here first. So Noah and Tosi did both demand that you go get Bubba. So I'll let you decide if you want to do that before we wrap up.
Try and pick him up. All right.
It's up to you. We can leave on a Bubba note if you can get it.
We'll try and get him. Hold on.
See, I'm giving the viewers what they want. He can't hear me now, so I'm out here petitioning for what all of you want. It is too late for caffeinated coffee, though, Chris. You're wrong. Some people need to sleep sometime. Oh, we have Bubba! Perfect. All right. Well, I'll wait for Kyle to get back on the headset, but we will be wrapping up here. So thank you for joining us tonight. I will give my litany of thank yous, starting first and foremost, a thank you to Kyle for letting me torture him for an hour. It's always a thing with high pressure to invite someone onto the show, especially because no one ever knows what I'm going to say. So thank you for doing that. My next thank you always goes to Headnisk/Zach, who runs tech for this, makes it infinitely easier for me if I don't have to worry about whether or not the stream is working the whole time. And a big shout out to Oni, who edits every one of the question scripts for these things, adds questions. It brings great joy to my heart every time I read one of my scripts and some pink text appears, because that means that I got a note or an addition or an edit from Oni. Makes the scripts, I like to say that I write scripts that are 8s or 9s out of 10s, but somehow each time Oni manages to take those and make a 10 out of 10, which I deeply appreciate. Last but not least, a big thank you to everyone who came and watched and chatted. We had a very active chat tonight, to the point that I probably missed some stuff. I'm sorry. I love you all. I did not ignore anyone. I just, I'm bad at multitasking, so sometimes I fail to read every word. But thank you so much for making this a riveting experience. Before we go, do you have any last words for our audience, Kyle?
No, I mean, I just echo all of your thanks. Thank you to you for hosting this, Zach, Oni, everybody in the chat, and I hope you had a good night.
Sounds great. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.